Hi everyone, welcome to Online Bible Study with Victoria. You know what, I hope everyone is doing well today. I am just thrilled and excited at the opportunity to be able to share a word and to be able to teach what it is that God has placed in my spirit on today. Now, if you haven't, before we get started, I want to urge you, if you're on Facebook, to join the group Online Bible Study with Victoria, because it is there that I share whatever it is that the Spirit lays on my heart. Inspiration, when God gives me a Bible verse, I share. I also post the written online Bible study lessons in that group, and just whatever it is that I feel may be helpful to others in learning the Word of God. So I want to thank you so much before I get started for taking the time out of your schedule to view this Bible study. And if you're a part of the online Bible study group on Facebook, now we've been in the Esther series, but however today it has been laid in my spirit to teach on the Proverbs 31 woman. And you know what, when I think about Proverbs 31 and the fact that this is a prophecy, you know what God laid in my spirit earlier today as I was thinking about creating this video. You know what, we have the power that God gives us to speak life into our children. Not only that, that God has entrusted our children with us. And with that said in mind, we are supposed to prepare our children for what's ahead. And that's exactly what this mother is doing in Proverbs 31. She is teaching her son what he should look for in a virtuous woman. So what I am getting ready to do is just start at verse 1, and I'm going to stop wherever the Spirit says stop, wherever he tells me to stop. I'm going to take that up in the next video. So without any delays, and if you haven't, before I read verse 1, go ahead and take out a journal and a pencil or a pen so that you can take notes. Go ahead and do that, and I urge you in the comment area below, if you have any questions, comments, or concern, maybe you just want to say hi, go ahead and drop that in the comment area. Like and share this video with your followers and with your friends. So verse 1 reads, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So there we go. Verse 1 tells us that this is basically a prophecy. And so if this is a prophecy, that means that she's teaching her son the things of God. She's teaching him the things that God has placed in her spirits. So verse 2 reads, what my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows. Verse 3, give not thy strength unto woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. You know, in verse 3, in my mind, she's telling her son not to be weak. Not to be weak. You know, let's think about this. There are a lot of good, there are a lot of bad people in this world. And if this son of hers loses focus, he can do just like a lot of other people that we know do. Maybe we've even done it before. Choose the wrong person. And oh my God, we know how hard it can be when we choose the wrong person. It could be just like we are living in mere misery. And so this mom is trying to prepare her son not to make that mistake, so that he would not choose or find a person that would basically destroy him. So verse 4 reads, it is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink. And you know what? I want to iterate on this verse here simply because now the Bible does not state that there is anything wrong with drinking alcohol, but it does say something about drinking strong drink. So we can drink casually as long as we don't get drunk, as long as we don't get drunk. Why? Because if we get drunk, we will not think rationally. And she's letting her son know, in your position, in your leadership position, it is not good for you to drink. Why? Because we know a lot of people drink too much. And I'll say this again, people that drink too much do not make decisions that are rational. And rather than you as a king making the wrong mistakes, you know what? It's just not good for kings to drink. Okay, and this is going to iterate on what I just said in verse 5. Lest they drink and forget the law. Okay? Lest they drink and forget the law. So here we are, a king, a person in leadership. His mind is supposed to be focused at all times. Now, if he's drunk, how is he going to remember his duties? And how is he going to remember what the laws state and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted? So I want to read that again. Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. So if he drinks and gets drunk, he may pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. And we just, I'm laughing, y'all, but can you imagine that? Now, a judge is not a king, but a judge is a person that makes very important decisions. Can you all imagine this? I like to try to keep things a little humorous too. A judge sitting on his bench and he's drunk. Now, would you trust him over the affairs of your life or anyone else's life? I don't think so. But check this out in verse 6. We know that alcohol can have a good place in this world also. It can be used for good. So in one sense, she's telling him as a king, do not drink. But however, in verse 6 it says, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. So isn't that interesting? It's okay to give it to those that are getting ready to perish or die. You know, when I read this earlier, it made me think about the fact that when people are in the hospital and they are passing away, they actually give them some pretty strong prescriptions. I think codeine, and I'm not really sure what else, but I have heard people passing away with cancer and things of such. Now, I don't believe they give them alcohol, but it just makes me think, I'm just sitting up here thinking about it, y'all. If I were in position right now and I were perishing, you know what? I probably would not have a problem with taking strong drink. And I do not drink at all. And neither am I saying that there's anything wrong with drinking. But if I were perishing so that I would not have to think about it as much, I would be, okay, y'all go ahead and pass around the bottle. And it also says those that are of heavy hearts. So, as I am sitting here right now reading this to you all, y'all excuse me for a moment. This Bible is heavy. But I have a huge, let me show y'all what I'm reading from. See how big that thing is, and it's hurting my fingers. But the word heavy, it makes me think of the fact that there are some that are going through some things that are so difficult that they are burdened. Maybe they have lost a child. I haven't lost a child, and one day maybe I'll have to go through that. But if I had to go through that, I'm thinking that maybe alcohol would make me feel a little bit better, you know. So I'm just being realistic about it. I'm not saying if you're going through something, go ahead and drink a whole lot of alcohol or anything like that. I'm just speaking in perspective of what was taking place back in that day, and then just looking at it and trying to put myself in that same position as to how I may feel, because in this life, as we know, we're gonna go through a lot of things. We're already going through a lot of things, and I think a little bit of alcohol or wine would make us feel better. But here's the thing, we have to be careful with that, and we have to watch that, because I know a lot of people that started out drinking casually, and then the next thing you know, they were alcoholics. So if this is you, if you're someone that drinks, I'm definitely not judging you, but be careful, because I know people personally that turned out to be alcoholics, and they ended up in Alcoholics Anonymous and those things, and it's just really, 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 really sad. So verse 7 says, let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Verse 8, open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. So open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. So again, this king needs to be focused. He needs to have his mind focused, so in the sense that he can step in situations where there are people that may not be able to speak out for themselves, and by him being in his position, he will be able to speak out and save them from some type of destruction. Again, he has to have his thought pattern together. He has to have his head together, in the sense that he cannot afford to make foolish decisions, because there are other people that are depending on him, and that's wisdom. That's the wisdom that God has given people that in a place of position. Sometimes he gives us the power to speak out, and we'll be able to help those people that cannot speak out on their own behalf. So verse 9 says, open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and the needy. So there again, he needs to be in the position, in his right mind, to be able to open his mouth to judge righteously. Because you know what? If our minds are just not where it should be, you know what? We cannot judge people righteously. We cannot judge people righteously, because in our minds is telling us one thing, but what our minds is telling us is really not true. So we want to be able to do things in a way that's right, and be able to speak out and open our mouths again to help the people that cannot speak out for themselves. That's the reason why in 8 it referred to opening thy mouth for the dumb. Not so much just to say people are dumb, but for those people that have a hard time speaking out for themselves. A king is supposed to be able to righteously make right decisions and judgments on all of our behalf. So if I go up here to verse 10, it says, who can find, and this is my favorite verse in this entire lesson, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is above rubies. Now that is one powerful woman. She's powerful, and she is, if a man finds this woman, he finds himself a woman that is worth so much money, because we know that her price is above rubies. Then this woman here, she's a keeper. And a man would be crazy to get rid of a woman like this. So Verse 11 says, the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. So this man can trust this woman. So women, are any women watching? If you are, ask yourself a question. Can your husband trust you? Is he giving you money to go pay the bills, and you say, you know what, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to go buy me a dress? Are you lying to him when he's asking you questions? Or are you cheating? I'm hoping and praying that you're not. So ask yourself this. Are you a virtuous woman? Can your husband trust you? If not, let's work on being the virtuous women of God that he would have us to be. Verse 12. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Now that's powerful. So that means that a virtuous woman has to be a godly woman. And this is why I say that, because it clearly states that we will cause him no evil. So if we're not causing him evil, we're causing him good, which means that we have to have good in our hearts. Because if we're causing him evil, then that means that we have things in our heart that's contrary to the woman of God. So, look, if you're a woman that's trying to plot against your husband or husband to be or your mate or whatever it is that you want to call him, you know what? You're out of the will of God. I don't care if he have wronged you, sister. You better forgive him and move on. Okay? Verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. Okay, this lady is not a lazy lady. She's not lazy. Now, I'm not necessarily saying she's working inside or outside the house. I say this right here because a lot of people feel like if a woman is taking care of the home and the man is outside of the house working, that she's just lazy and she just doesn't want to work. I feel like this, to each his own. Whatever that husband and wife feels that works better for them, then who cares what anybody else thinks or feel, as long as together they're productive and they are a team. Now, if you're at home and you're a woman, you sitting on the couch being a couch potato, eating all day, getting fat, while your husband is out there working, you're dead wrong. Because this clearly states that this woman is making things happen, whether it be inside the home or outside the home. And if you're outside of the home working, guess what? When you get home, you still have a house that you have to take care of. So these are just characteristics of a Proverbs 31 woman. And I'm getting ready to end, you all. But verse 14 says, she is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. So here we go again. She takes care of the affairs of her home. Now, I have a question if you all are mothers. Are your babies McDonald's babies? And you know what? I really don't like McDonald's, but I'm not really trying to put down McDonald's. But my thing is, are your babies eating McDonald's every single day? Or do you take the time to make nourishing meals for your children? So ask yourself that. Are your children the type of children that they're eating processed foods every day? You're buying TV dinners every day instead of taking the time. And I know, I get that. Some people are working outside of the home. You find it difficult. You find it hard. But that's still no excuse. It doesn't take, 10-15 minutes to fry a burger and make a salad on the side. Okay, so I'm just one of those keep it real type people. God have placed it in my spirit to speak life into the women. So if you all see me deviate from the Bible study and begin to speak life into the women, that's what I am called here to do. And I'm one of those people. I'm a bold soldier. So let me warn you, but I hope that me being a bold soldier will not turn you away from being a part of this online Bible study. Okay, this is the last verse. There are 31 verses. I assume that's why it's called Proverbs 31 because it's the 31st chapter and 31 verses. So how amazing is that? I'm going to split it in half for the sake of time. So I'm going to stop here at 15. I'll take on the next lesson on verses 16 through 31. So 15 reads, "She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens." So there we go again. Not only does she take care of the affairs of her home, but she takes care of other people's too, because she gives a portion to her maiden. So this means that she's not a stingy person. She understands the dynamics of being a giver. And I would say it again, this woman is a godly woman. Now, I want to take just a moment, as the Spirit is laying it in my spirit, to speak life into the women. I am a mother of 6, a wife for the last 26 years, and also I have been in ministry licensed since 2009. And I want to say this, it hasn't always been easy. I'm also an entrepreneur, so I know how hard it is, ladies. Sometimes when you wake up, you're tired. Sometimes when you go to sleep, you are tired. I know what it is to feel as if you're taking care of everyone except you. Please, women of God, love on your families, okay? Love on others, but love on you, okay? Because if you are burnt out, you cannot take care of your family. There's no way you can do that. Trust me, I've been there. I've got a testimony. I was in the hospital for 5 days and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. Chest pains, could not breathe, couldn't even walk. My entire body shut down. This was years ago, but this is the truth. This is real talk, because I allowed people in my circle to stress me out. Don't do it, ladies. It's just not worth it. When it's time for you to rest, rest. You know, sometimes it's interesting being an entrepreneur, especially when our business or businesses are growing and people are blowing your inboxes up and everything else. But you know what? When we leave this earth, we cannot take every dollar and every dime with us. So get in tune with the Master. When the Master tells you to cut it off, cut it off. When he tells you it's time to stop working, stop working. When he tells you it's time to stop focusing on your work and take care of your children and your family, and do that. Because sometimes you can be so busy taking care of business and then your family is neglected. Not the will of God. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to make sure that God is first in your life, foremost and the center. I want you to make sure that you take care of your family. And remember this, your family does include your spouse. So think about that. Take care of you, okay? If you have the extra money to go out and buy yourself something new, do that for yourself. Stay focused and do not allow people to stress you out. Because remember this, if you're stressed out, the people that you love and take care of every day, they're going to be affected just like you are. So I hope and just pray today that there is something that I have said that will help you continue in being a virtuous woman. Now, don't forget, if you haven't, join my online Bible study group. The title of that group on Facebook, again, is Online Bible Study with Victoria. I want to thank you so much again for taking the time out to study with me. Now, until next time, goodbye.